Everything you were taught about where tornadoes happen in America is wrong. Not slightly wrong, fundamentally wrong. Right now, one of the most dangerous weather shifts in modern history is unfolding across the United States, and most of the people directly in its path have absolutely no idea it's coming. Forget the flat, open fields of Kansas. Forget the dramatic plains of Oklahoma. The tornado risk in America is moving. It's shifting east, into states that aren't prepared, into towns with no warning culture, into neighborhoods where people are asleep, and the scariest part, you can't see a tornado at night. For generations, Americans have had a mental map of tornado risk. You probably know it instinctively. A broad corridor running through Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, Tornado Alley, the place where the weather gets wild and locals know to take cover. That mental map kept communities safe. It shaped where storm shelters got built, which schools ran tornado drills, which counties invested in sirens. It was the foundation of how an entire country understood its weather risk. And now, scientists say that map is becoming obsolete. Atmospheric scientist Victor Gensini didn't set out to rewrite the textbooks. He was just doing his job, chasing storms, analyzing decades of the tornado data, looking for patterns. And what he found was undeniable. Tornado activity in the traditional Great Plains states, the places that built the entire folklore of American severe weather, has been declining. And at the same time, tornadoes have been increasing significantly in a region scientists now call Dixie Alley, Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, states where people don't grow up with basements, states where trailer homes still dot the countryside, states where the culture of tornado preparedness is nearly non-existent, because until recently, it didn't need to be. And then came December 10th, 2021, the night that made this story impossible to ignore. Heather Chambers lived in Wingo, Kentucky. Population, just over 400 people. The kind of town where everybody knows everybody. A quiet community in the western corner of the state. A region not exactly known for dramatic weather. On the night of December 10th, Heather went to bed the same way she always did. No reason to worry. It was December after all. Tornadoes are summer things, right? At 10:27 p.m. local time, a tornado touched down. It would travel over 200 miles across Kentucky, a distance almost unheard of in tornado history. It ripped through the town of Mayfield. It tore through Dawson Springs, and it passed through communities that had no experience, no warning culture, and in many cases, no shelter at all. Over 80 people died in Kentucky alone that night. Across the multi-state outbreak, nearly 100 lives were lost. It became one of the deadliest December tornado events in American history. Heather survived, but her world and the world of thousands of her neighbors was never the same. Her story is not unique. It is a preview, because if scientists are right, communities like Wingo, Kentucky are not outliers anymore. They are the new front line. So how does a tornado form? And more importantly, why are they forming somewhere new? To understand this, you need to understand a collision, not of cars or countries, of air masses. Every tornado requires three ingredients. First, warm, moist air streaming north from the Gulf of Mexico. Second, cold, dry air pushing down from Canada. Third, hot, dry air rolling in from the deserts of the American Southwest. When these three air masses collide in exactly the wrong place at exactly the wrong time, the atmosphere becomes unstable. Thunderstorms explode upward. Wind shear, the change in wind speed and direction with altitude, causes those storms to rotate. And when conditions are right, a funnel descends. Here's where climate change enters the story. Scientists have identified a key atmospheric feature called a cap. Think of it as a lid on the atmosphere, a layer of hot, dry air that sits over a region and suppresses storm development beneath it. Normally, this cap exists to some degree across the Southwest. But as the Southwest has grown hotter and drier, partly driven by climate change, that cap has become stronger, more stable, harder to break through. Result? Storms that would have formed over Texas and Oklahoma are being suppressed. The atmosphere is putting a lid on the traditional tornado belt. But here's the other side of the equation. While the Southwest cap strengthens, the Gulf of Mexico is warming. A warmer Gulf means more evaporation. More evaporation means more moisture streaming into the atmosphere. More moisture means more energy available for storms. And where does all that extra moisture go? East, into the mid-south and southeast, where there's no strong cap to stop it. The physics haven't changed. The ingredients for tornadoes are the same, but the kitchen has moved. Now here's something the statistics don't fully prepare you for. Even if tornadoes in the east were the same strength as those on the plains, they would still be far more deadly. And there are 4 reasons why. Number 1, terrain. The Great Plains were built for visibility. You can see a tornado coming from 30 miles away. In Tennessee and Alabama, Forests, hills, ridgelines, they hide the storm until it's almost on top of you. By the time you see it, you have seconds, not minutes. Number 2, speed. Southeastern tornadoes tend to move faster. While a plains tornado might travel at 30 miles per hour, giving communities a few precious minutes, southeastern storms often move at 60 miles per hour or more. The warning window shrinks dramatically. Number 3, they happen at night. This might be the single most dangerous factor of all. On the plains, the peak tornado hour is mid-afternoon, when instability is highest. In the southeast, storms frequently peak late at night when families are asleep, when phones are silenced, when the darkness makes the storm invisible. Even if you're awake to look, you cannot outrun what you cannot see. Number 4, population density and housing. The southeast has far more mobile homes than the plains. Mobile homes are essentially the worst possible shelter during a tornado. And the region also has significantly higher population density. More people in the path of each storm, more lives at risk per square mile of damage. When you combine all 4 of those factors, you get the December 2021 outbreak. You get the deadliest tornadoes in years, striking people who didn't expect them in the dark, in homes that couldn't protect them. If you live in the southeast, mid-south, or anywhere east of the traditional tornado alley, and let's be honest, that's most of the country, here is what you need to know. First, get a weather alert device, not just a weather app, a dedicated NOAA weather radio or a battery-powered alert device that will physically wake you up if a warning is issued while you're asleep. Your phone notification might not be enough in the middle of the night. Second, know your shelter before the storm comes. The best shelter is a small interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. A bathroom, a closet, a hallway. Get away from windows. Get low, protect your head. Third, never shelter in a car or mobile home. If you live in a mobile home, identify a sturdy community shelter before severe weather season. And don't wait until a warning is issued to go there. Go early. Go before the storm. Fourth, plan now, not then. When a tornado warning is issued, the time for planning is over. Know where you're going, know who you're calling, know your plan before you ever need it. None of this is complicated. All of it saves lives. And none of it matters unless you actually do it. Tornado Alley was never a permanent feature of the American landscape. It was a description of where the atmosphere was colliding for a particular era in a particular climate. That era is shifting. Victor Gensini and his colleagues aren't predicting doom. They're sounding an alarm, a scientific alarm that communities have time to respond to if they choose to listen. Heather Chambers survived that December night. She will carry it with her forever. And what she and thousands of other survivors want, more than anything, is for their story to be the warning that saves the next family in the next town that doesn't even know a warning is necessary. The tornado doesn't care that you didn't expect it. The question is, will you be ready? If this video made you think differently about where you live or where the people you love live, share it. That one share might reach someone in Kentucky or Tennessee or Alabama who has never once thought about tornado preparedness. It might be the most important thing you do today. Drop a comment below. Are you in a region that's now seeing more severe weather? I read every single one and I want to know your story. Subscribe if you want more science that actually matters. Not headlines, not hype, just the real story behind what's happening to our world. Explained so clearly, you'll want to call someone and tell them what you just learned. I'll see you in the next one.